What? Gmail. To my Gmail.
Hey, we need technological support. This is not going online. Yeah. Yeah, so just give us a minute. We're having a little technological difficulties. But as soon as we get into this email, the presentation will begin. All right, here we go. Talk to them real quick. Okay. Yeah, we got it. So, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. The reason why we say Fear the Black Planet is because if we can pay attention to what's going on, especially in this quote-unquote Donald Trump administration, I don't even got to do a lecture. I could just get up here and ask questions. Because they're showing you that there has to be something about us that they fear. I don't utilize the word white supremacy because I don't believe that.
No such thing.
Supreme people don't walk around and try to oppress inferior people. That's not the hallmark of a supreme race. They'll carry on and just be supreme. There's no permit patties in a supreme race. There's no backyard Beckies in a supreme race. You know the people that will call the police on you if your ass is barbecuing?
Yeah.
You know the white women that was calling the police on people because they were, whatever, black while breathing, breathing while black, walking while black, talking while black. There's an inferiority complex that they are showing you that they can't hide anymore. They to you now that Trump is president and black people are like, we're just going to let white people get their act together. They're just going through something. No! Their time is up, okay? And they're letting you know that they with the shits. And they see something sweet in our race. As a result of the fallout of what Ronald Reagan, okay, George Bush, Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, and all of their cohorts have been doing to do what? To weaken us. Remember, the edict went out by J. Edgar Hoover at a time when Newark was lit. Do you know what y'all were doing in the 30s out here? Do you know what Noble Drew Ali and them was doing out here in the 30s? Newark is one of the birthplaces of consciousness, black consciousness. We are within what is known as a 100-year cycle of black consciousness, black God consciousness. What do you mean, brother? I'm a Jesus Bible toter. What I'm talking about is the God within. Okay? What I'm talking about is the fact that we have had scholars come amongst us. Okay? And these scholars have brought forth information, and they brought forth the tools that we need to show us who we are. Because what we have been doing, what we were suffering from, is the fact that they would not. Hold on. The fact that they had us worshiping something other than us. They had us looking at a picture and more power to it. Do you know how disempowering that is? When you realize that the power is within you, you got talking about there's a deity that helps them pay their bills. There's a deity outside of themselves that help keep the lights on. But what about the atheists whose lights are always on? And what about the people whose lights was on before they were religion? How could you equate your success? How could you equate anything that you're doing outside of yourself? How could you look past your ancestors and give it to somebody else? You would be cursed for that. There are spiritual curses that our people are going to be suffering from until they get it right. You keep celebrating these Roman holidays, you're going to perpetuate the curse. You keep selling drugs to pregnant women, you're going to perpetuate the curse. How dare people talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine and try to throw him under the bus when we created that? How dare people point fingers at all of these children out here that are walking around with their pants down, that are basically self-sabotaging themselves, living out the spell, living out the edict that Tupac said, thug life. Remember what that stood for? The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. He told you that. So if he told you that, he obviously knew what was going on, and that has come to pass. Okay? That has come to pass. So these children that are walking around because they're going through some stuff that we don't want to address, what do? We start to judge. We start to point fingers. We don't want to look in the mirror because it reminds us, and I'm speaking to those of us that were born in the 70s. I'm 43 years old. I know it doesn't look like that. We'll talk about that later. Blue Pill has some health products that, But those of us that were born in that time period, who lived through the 80s, okay, who lived through the 90s, I speak about it often. I come from a time when I remember when the curse wasn't that thick. Remember when there was butterflies and ladybugs and fireflies and, all of these things. Remember the sunshine brighter? Remember things were more technicolor? It just felt differently. Okay? Now we find ourselves in a very dark place. Hold on, y'all. Now we find ourselves in a very dark place, unfortunately. Okay? Give me 1 second. Try it again. So nobody teaches us this. Nobody teaches us the spiritual implication of the actions that we take chasing these dollars. Okay? Nobody teaches us the spiritual implications of worshiping and giving all of our life force into an image that looks nothing like us. Nobody warns us about the spiritual implications about accepting a God who they put a color to. God don't got no color. God is a force. There's nobody with a long ass beard hiding behind a cloud, like throwing babies down and whatnot. That's not. We got to get out of this fantasy mind state. That's why scholars are coming amongst you, not just me and my brother, Professor Griff. This is the Source of Knowledge bookstore. You have scholars who have written tomes, books upon books to try to break us out of this elementary mind state. God is an energy. The Most High, or whatever we want to call it, is a force. It doesn't have a face. We don't have a face. We are what? Spiritual beings, right? Having a human experience. And we chose to incarnate in these avatars, which are spacesuits. We chose to come back as black people, right? So as a result of us coming back as quote unquote black people, we chose to have these experiences. So many of us, you know, we're like, yo, why is everything going wrong? And you know, this pity party that black people always try to say, no, you made the decision to come here to solve problems. You made the decision to reincarnate in a black body to do things for your people. So you just can't live through life, you know, punching the clock, going home, sitting on the couch. That's not living. That's not living. That's not why you came here. Each one of us has a purpose. And I would do everything within our power to find out what our purpose is. One of the first things that we can do is to go and get a chart reading, right? Find somebody that you trust to do a natal chart reading. What is a natal chart reading? How many people are familiar with GPS? Okay, so a natal chart reading is your GPS. It's going to tell you if you get your birth certificate and find out the exact time that you were born. It will tell you the exact alignment of the constellations in the quote unquote star systems and everything. When you came here, what is your rising? Not just your birth, not just your horoscope. What planets are basically, you know, what's your rising? What all of these things are important. And then you begin a journey. This thing that they call consciousness is called man, know thyself. And they muddle the definition and just throw it in and call it. No, it's not just consciousness. Consciousness is what you do along the way of this journey to know thyself. Okay? It's not about knowing what a teacher or knowing what one of these scholars ate for dinner and whatnot and then trying to emulate that. No, it's about what is your journey. Okay? What did you come here to do? Because it's the same way like if we're on a sports team, I might know that I'm good as a center, but I might be in need of somebody that's a shooting guard. You might be that shooting guard, but there's so many people that don't know their purpose that we're losing out here because we don't have everybody on the goddamn floor playing the game. That's what purpose is. It will show you what it is that you're here to do. It's not downloaded.
What's this? Serious mind.
Yeah, we're gonna get this thing going. So what we want to talk about tonight and what we want to get around is the fact that there are a lot of distractions going on. We don't want to focus on the distractions that are going on because what are the distractions going to do? It's going to take us off of our mission. The distractions are going to take us away from our path and what it is that we're here to do. Okay? So we have to focus on what the purpose of what it is that we're here to do. All right? But at the same time, we have to be aware of all of the things that are being done against us. The title of this lecture is The Media Manipulation of the Black Mind. And as you can see, what happened earlier today. When George Bush died, they put that white man up like he was the best president that the world has ever seen. Right?
He died.
He died. Yes. He's dead. George Bush Sr. is dead. Okay? So what they began doing is they began painting this picture, right? That's what they do. This is what the media will do. They will whitewash the war criminals that are amongst us who have all kind of blood on their hands. And then they'll have your children arguing with you about how great that man is, right? Thus implanting another person, another colonizer, another goddamn version of Hitler inside of the subconscious of our people, where we exonerate them for all of the sins that they've committed against our people. And we do what? We worship them. We forgive them. We sweep all of that stuff under the rug and be like, well, at least he went to get Saddam Hussein. You know, he did a great job. You know what I'm saying? But what they won't do is they won't talk about how many people saw Narcos. By show of hands, how many people watch Narcos? Okay. Narcos is a show on Netflix that chronicles the rise of cocaine. And it takes place in Latin America. But what they won't do in Narcos is they won't tie George Bush and Ronald Reagan into the proliferation of cocaine, illegal guns, and all kind of pharmacopoeia into black neighborhoods. Not by mistake, but with the mission, by design, and with the mission to stifle the rise of the black messiahs. Not one person, not two people, the messianic force, the force that we get when we get into rooms like this. The force that we get when we're on stages and we're talking to 100,000 people and we say, put your hands in the air. And they put their hands in the air. The same way that you could tell them to put your hands in the air, you could tell them go run and tear that shit down. And they will listen to you. There's a humongous fear amongst the powers that be for anybody that looks like me and you who are coming out of ghetto USA to have that kind of power. Henceforth, why Professor Gray pointed out why they do these FBI operations on the rap artists. The RICO. How many people know about AR-AB? How many people know about Rollo? How many people know about Tekashi 6ix9ine? Okay? How many people know BMF? So here it is. We have the entertainment industry, right? Because the RICO law states that you are aiding and abetting a criminal organization doing what is called racketeering, right? But when they went and locked up Tekashi 6ix9ine, did they lock up his label boss? Do you know who his label boss is? No, it's not Treyway. It's Elliot Grange, who is the son of Lucian Grange, who is the #2 most powerful person in the whole music industry. He is the owner and president of Universal Music Group, not just Universal Records, Universal Music Group. That's Island, that's Def Jam, that's everybody. How many people watch Empire? You know about Luscious, or what's the name? Well, Lucian is Lucius. So imagine if Lucian is modeled after Lucius. I don't know what his name is. Lucius is modeled after Lucian. Lucius has a gay son that's in the industry, right? Yeah. Okay, so the same gay son would be Elliot. Elliot is Trippie Redd and Tekashi's manager. That's the manager that they went and had a shootout at the restaurant. They try to run up in this restaurant called Felipe's, and they had a shootout with that manager. They didn't arrest the manager. But when the feds was looking after Death Row, when the feds was going after Murder Inc., they locked everybody up. Okay? So what does the feds do? The feds have an edict to fill up the federal penitentiary system. Jeff Sessions, before he got fired, because once again, we don't know what we're looking at. This is a soap opera. You got a reality TV show star that you're calling your president that's running around firing people, and black people's like, oh, get rid of him. No, he already did his work. Yeah. What are you talking about? He already did the damage. He signed all of the laws. He rescinded everything that Obama did. He already broke the system and didn't get fired. That's what Steve Bannon did. That's what goddamn what's his name? Jeff Sessions did. Yeah. So these are not here to do anything beneficial for us, by us, or anything. The politicians that you think that you elected, they're not doing anything either.
Thank you.
They're just here for the kickback. If you haven't noticed, there's more politicians in the federal penitentiary system than anybody else. They just trying to get the bag. That's all they are there for. They don't care about you because you did not buy them. Let's be clear. Yo, brother Red Pill, we got to vote locally because, you know, my congressman is going to bring back block parties. Listen, have a seat. All right? And get into power yourself. Stop looking outside of yourself. Going back to what I was saying earlier. Stop giving your power to somebody else. If anybody is going to fix this, it's not going to be a politician.
Who do you think it would be?
You. Those of us who, she asks, who is going to be the one to fix it? And it harkens back to the earlier conversation that I'm having with you about purpose. Everybody in this room may not find or figure out their purpose, and that's perfectly fine. That does not take away from who you are or your importance. This is a life mission, okay? Some people are just trying to get to the goddamn offer the fries and to get to the manager position so they can fix the ice cream machine at McDonald's. That's their purpose. But then some people, like how they had in the Nike commercial, some people think the impossible. And they say, yo, I'm going to be the one that's going to change things. I'm going to be the one that's going to disrupt things. I'm going to be the one that's going to shake the pillars of the matrix. And that's your purpose. And I'm here to let you know, if that's what you want to do, you can do it. Me and this man right here, we've been Professor Griff in the back. A lot of people, this brother Haas, a lot of people that's in this building right now. When we started out in our humble beginnings, we did not know that we would do the amount of work that we have done to this day. And we're not finished, we're just getting started. But the amount of disruption that we have brought to this system, the amount of people that we've been able to pull out of the matrix, the amount of people that we've been able to wake up, that person that we woke up might be the one to change it all. You feel me? So never underestimate the power of who you are. Never underestimate your vision, because we're great. As you can see when you begin to study us, your ancestors' DNA is in your blood. So you don't look outside of yourself, you speak to them, you ignite them, you activate them. Okay? When I turned 40 years old, that was 3 years ago. I felt DNA activated in my system. I felt it. I felt like I came online. Remember, you have certain kind of information that's time released. You have to complete the revolution around the sun. People call it age. We're ageless. We have no age. When they began giving us birthdays, that's when we began to age prematurely. When you go into the Sentinel Islands, if you make it past the bows and arrows, to those people that are over there that are killing missionaries, and be like, yo, how old are you? When is your birthday? They're like, birth what? They don't have a birthday. Why count when we're timeless? But what you do have is called revolutions around the sun. And those revolutions around the sun begin to unlock what they call junk DNA. The reason why you get wisdom when you get older. First by experience, right? But from basically living through this thing. Being able to say, yo, I made mistakes when I was in my 20s. I was doing some dumb shit. And then when I was 30, I was trying to figure it all out. But now at 40, I have the wisdom and knowledge to experience in the fact that my ancestors are really working through me. Keep in mind, the majority of billionaires, for anybody that's worried about making some money, the majority of billionaires and millionaires are made in their 40s and onward, right? Because it's just certain things that you get now. It's just certain things. It's just a certain kind of energy. It's a certain kind of wisdom that you have. You're not with the small talk. You can see past a lot of things. So it's very important that we begin to instill that in our children. Because right now, Our children are following the James Dean theory. Live fast and die young. They looking at gray hair like it's a curse. Like, oh, I don't want to get old. You know what I'm saying? They don't aspire for a future. They have an odd future. Okay? They are very suicidal, this new generation. They're drinking liquid heroin, dying in their sleep. They popping Xannies, bars, Percocets. They smoke Molly in Miami. I was in Miami, and they was like, yo, the Molly don't smoke me. I smoke it. Get them wavy. Right? Shit is crazy. And the record labels, Elliot Grange, Lucian Grange, right? Todd Moskovich, Liar Cohen. How many people saw the Liar Cohen interview in the Breakfast Club? Right? Well, he revealed this is a Jewish power executive. Okay? He's the proverbial puppet masters. So all of the artists, a majority of the artists, he's behind Migos, he's behind Young Thug, he was behind Rockefeller, he's behind all of that dope shit, right? And in the interview, he was like, "Yo, one of the worst crises that we have is the opiate crisis." This is what he told Charlemagne and them, right? Leonard, and they were like, "So why are all your artists promoting opiates?" Do you know what he said? He was like, yo, my family got to eat. With a straight face. And they let him get out the building. How about that? Angela Yee, they hit him with the sentiments. And he said a lot of revealing things in that interview. He said, I go to the country club, right? This is an Israeli. He's called his father's a Mossad agent. That's like the CIA in Israel, right? They put in a lot of work. Their hands are very bloody, right? He said, I go to the country clubs and I talk to investors and bankers about hip hop all day. I tell them where to invest. What does he mean? Translation. They are trading our people on the stock market every single day. Why do you think white people are always smiling at you and rushing to get to work? They make money off of you all day. Big pharma, big prisons, all of the hospital, they in Blue Shield, you know what I mean? They invested in all of the insurance companies because what Liar Cohen does is he assures these bankers, I got these niggas. Like, this is my act right here. He gonna be pushing Molly Percocet. Go ahead and invest multiple millions in Big Pharma. Because the minute his shit dropped, it's over. Now he's the president of YouTube. The minute he became president of YouTube, mumble rap took over officially. They was on the rise. Migos was doing a little bit of numbers. Young Thug was they was streaming like a few million. The minute Liar got in the building, that shit went up to 300 million a video. You could cook numbers on YouTube. You know that? Like, you could buy numbers outside of YouTube. So imagine what you could do if you're the president of YouTube. It's just a number game. Men lie, women lie, numbers do too. In this day and age of the attention economy, numbers lie. They tweaking numbers. So y'all be running behind people like, oh, they got 30 million followers. I want to dot just like her. I want to get on the slut walk just like Amber. Because everybody loves her. I want to follow Kim Kardashian, not realizing what if they bought their followers? And you the only goofy following them. You know what I'm saying? What if that was the case? Because they're utilizing, this is a new level of the Matrix. The Matrix, in 2012, we went from analog to digital. That means the game changed. Okay? And a lot of people have not caught up to it. So you don't even know the field in which you're playing in. This is an advanced field. They're utilizing analytics, metrics, all kind of things. They can send a message directly to your phone. They're studying you. I brought up this point as well. The apps that we're utilizing, Facebook, Snapchat, no. When you go in the App Store, before you download the app, apps are for teens. So here it is, you got grown-ass adults operating on apps that are designed for teens. Now they're acting like teens. Why is your grandmama poking me on Facebook? Why is Uncle Willie playing with his nipple ring on Snapchat? This nigga's like 68. Why are their great grandmothers soliciting sexual favors to the world on the gram, talking about swipe up? That's what teenagers do. That's what teenagers do. So if you're playing around, or because remember, the people who design these apps, go and visit Silicon Valley one weekend, or go online and study. When you study who these people are, go and look at their letters, go and look at their titles, go and look at where they graduated from, Stanford, MIT. They studied the human mind. They didn't stumble upon these apps by mistake. These apps are intricately designed to do what? Conform your brain, not theirs. And there's all kind of reports that are coming out that say, yo, they are terraforming your minds. You are devolving. You're going backwards. You're not getting smarter. You're becoming more robotic. You're becoming more dehumanized, more desensitized, right? You are an android. They call it an android, but goddammit, people are acting like androids. And I promise you, if iPhone comes out with a chip in 2020, when the phone shrinks down to a chip, just put it behind your ears. You can answer the phone like this. Niggas gonna do it. For all of you mark of the beast people. So they have our people in a very precarious place these days. These people are playing games on levels that we do not know of. We have to understand. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is simply to be aware. So we're here to help you be aware that there's a war taking place. There's a war for your hearts and your minds. Okay? Because I'll never get up here and say that we're in a physical war, and I won't tell you, let's go out and fight it. All right? There's a soft war taking place, but there's quiet weapons for silent wars. Whoever read the book, Behold the Pale Horse. Okay? Medical malpractice amongst black women especially. Right? They talk about, I heard somebody online, they have like, you know how they got those videos where they have one gender going against the other gender, right? So they had a sister trying to talk down to black men, talking about white men are shooting them down and we're being hunted and everything. I'm like, yo, she don't realize what it is that she's saying? They're not shooting y'all down. They're just waiting for you to go to a doctor appointment. They're taking your room out. They're pulling your baby out of you like this shit is slavery, bruh. Are you serious? They're prescribing psychotropics that will basically alter your DNA. They're feeding you GMOs. They got you want to be like Amber Rose. So, no, quiet weapons for silent wars. There's assaults on all angles right now. We can't be on playtime anymore. This ain't joke season. You feel me? As black people, we have to carry ourselves a little more militant-minded. And I'm not talking about walking around with an ice grill every day, because that doesn't solve anything. I'm just talking about we cannot necessarily, we can't just walk into anything like everything is sweet, because it's not. It is definitely not. Are we done? Okay, it's definitely not sweet. We have to be aware. We have to be on point. We have to get more into ourselves. Spend some time with yourself. I'm only saying that because that's what helped me with a lot of things. All of this technology around us, all of these signals that are being sent to us, you don't even know if your thoughts are your own thoughts. You ever came off a line one day and you had all of these suggestions to do shit that you don't necessarily do, or to go and eat stuff that you don't necessarily eat? You ever said something and then you went on Google and it's trying to sell it right back to you? You like, damn, how they know I like curly fries? What is the curly fry commercials doing in the video that I'm watching? Like, what's going on? Yeah, because they are utilizing technology on a higher level. And this is not fear mongering. Don't get all scared and throw your Mac out. This ain't fear mongering. This is simply what I said is consciousness, being aware of the fact that ain't shit sweet out here. And we're on a higher level now. Why? Because we're waking up. Going, hearkening back to what I said earlier about these people who are practicing what I call white fragility, white inferiority. They are scared. They're terrified. That's all you see. Remember the video when she was making a call? Hand shaking, the damn phone almost jumped out of her hand. What are they afraid of? What are they in fear of? Huh? They're in fear of the fact that our people are wisening up and our people are waking up. There's a movement, quote unquote woke movement, right? This woke movement or the conscious movement, because remember, like I said, they study metrics. Okay? They study metrics. So they know by watching your Facebook, they know that when they kill one of our people, they could read the metrics on about how many people are outraged by it. Right? Where our minds are at as a collective. So they're out here doing what? Trying their best to push back. Trying their best to put our people in a state of fear. Because what does fear do? Fear cripples you. Okay? Fear makes you not want to do anything. Fear makes you question who the hell you are.
Oh, it's not in there. It's not what you're looking for.
Download file.
It's not downloaded.
Okay.
It's 127 megs. Like, you got to like 30 or something. It's too big.
It's not.
It will be up there in the corner somewhere.
But this is what we'll do. If this doesn't download, what I'm going to need is every single person's email that's in the building tonight, and we will email this PDF to you because it's also a study guide. It's something that you could definitely learn from, and it's not all deep and intricate to whereas you won't understand what you're saying. Okay? So yeah, so what we were gonna do in this lecture by running through it is I was gonna go through a lecture that I did 10 years ago with Professor Griff. The first time we did Fear of a Black Planet 2 in Atlanta in 2009.
How was the reception?
It was beautiful. Packed building, you know what I mean? Packed building. People were very receptive to the information. The information was new to them. What I wanted to show 10 years later is the information is no longer new. It's right now. It's going on. It's going down right now in front of us. The media manipulation of the black minds. One of the ways that they're capturing our minds is through the music. Okay? One of the ways that they're capturing our mind is through the entertainment. All right? I was going to show a chart on the devolution of the rap industry. Let's start with the ladies first. Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown. We're talking the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did they promote?
Sex.
Promiscuity. They were the mules, remember? They was moving work. So that was the first wave of convincing our sisters, yo, carry that package. Strap them keys around your waist and get on the Greyhound, right? Throw this weave on, go in the club and throw that box around. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they were promoting. Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Trina, and Kia. My neck, my back. You don't know about that. That was the first wave, right? After that, we had the second wave. Nicki Minaj. Right? Let me just show you the cycle of how these record companies do us. Okay? Because people will be like, oh, no, it's the artist. No, it's not. There's a million artists that are out there. They pick from the pick of the litter, and they put them on a throne and rise them up. Remember, a label is a bank. So when you get signed to $10 million, you basically got loaned $10 million that you're going to pay back with interest. But that loan is then basically saying, we're going to basically bankroll your image. We're going to add some water to the drip in a tune of 10 million, right? And then when they give you the 10 million, right? The 10 million is,
You good?
yeah, the 10 million, right? The clothing companies will give you free stuff. You're not going to buy nothing anymore. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, we got Roman designers, right? What's Versace? Italian, right? What's D&G? Italian. What's Moschino? Huh? Who's in Italy? Is it not the Vatican? Okay? When they say Greco-Roman, that's what they're talking about. All of these people. Do you know the company LHV, Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy? They're all one company. They all work hand in hand. Going back to what I was saying before, it's all a stock market scheme. The real racketeers are Wall Street. The real racketeers are these labels. They're racketeering you because they'll sign an artist, then they'll have a meeting with the executives, and then they'll be like, all right, what they rapping about? Henny? Pastor Cabossier? Huh? They wearing what? They wearing Versace? All right, we're going to go and buy the stocks. You know what I'm talking about? They'll read your numbers, they'll see how you chart, and then they'll invest in you. Right? So with that being said, are they signing people who are saying fight the power? Are they giving them 10 million? Are they signing sisters like Rhapsody, Rock, Star, sisters that are bringing real skills to the Ahmadiyya?
That's right.
Did she get the bag? Let me check. Google her net worth. So because our people are infatuated with these numbers, they put these fake numbers behind you. You don't really got $10 million in the deal. They just let you hold something. You got a black card, but you got to pay that back. So the second phase is Nicki Minaj. That means that when they elevate, when they get the new artist, the spell is ramped up because that shit that they were doing was wearing off. So now they're gonna give you plastic surgery, butt injections, right? Cut the stomach out, right? Cut the intestines out and put it in the buns.
Yeah.
With a transfer, yeah. Right, a transfer.
That's crazy.
Right? But then, what does she do? She's an inspiration to impressionable minds globally. Right? She's a Barbie. What do you do with a doll? What do you do with a doll when you finish playing with it?
Put it in the closet.
Do dolls talk back to you?
Chucky. No.
Dolls are just meant to play with. So, you got Cash Doll. You got Asian Doll, right? You got Cuban Doll. Where all of these damn dolls come from? You got Dream Doll. Y'all might not know who these artists are, but Little Segment does. Little Isis knows her. Okay? Little Shaquita, she knows who these people are. And she walking around looking like a doll. And these dudes is out here ready to play with a doll. They calling them tots. But they calling themselves dolls. And they got plastic booties. Right? Silicone breasts. Fake lips. And that's where we at. There's no emphasis on education. There's no emphasis on health. Because health is wealth. I don't care about nothing else. If you have not realized that at this point, then we might not, we might have to teach a little bit more. But health is wealth, as you can see. with all of the rap artists is they got mad bread that's not even waking up out of their sleep. If you're not here to enjoy the black card, if you're not here to enjoy the Maybach, if you can't even get out the Maybach, if you can't sit down in the Maybach because your booty hurt, right? It's no use. Health is wealth. There's a report out that says for millennials, they're bypassing all of the trinkets. They're getting right to health. The health and wellness industry is $1 billion industry right now. Whole Foods is gourmet food now. You can't hop out of the Maybachs with a McDonald's bag. Right? So they're not emphasizing health for our babies. They're not emphasizing coding. Black girls code. They're not telling them to do that. They're not telling them to keep up with the digital divide. They're not telling them to be entrepreneurs. That's it. She's saying rich sex. You know what I'm talking about? Go find you a baller to take you to Dubai. Right? But it gets better than that. Because Nicki Minaj, she had her wave. And that shit started to wear off. Right? You know, she got her mama in her life. She's subtly telling you to be a prostitute, you know, but not really. You know what I'm saying? She's just dealing with the plastic thing and some other things. But here we go. Here we got Cardi B. So we're talking about phases of the spell. We're talking about phase. You saw the movie Inception where they bury the idea 3 levels. We're talking about burying this curse 3 levels into the subconsciousness of impressionable minds. So as they blossom, this is what they're giving birth to. This is how they're growing up. We got Kim Kardashian. We got Black China. We got Amber Rose. And we got Cardi B. They don't gotta be rappers no more because we live in the attention economy. That shit is out the window. You don't gotta rap. You just gotta be on a gram with 100 million followers. You understand? They got a beauty industry. Meaning that you don't gotta do nothing but be beautiful. Get your face beat. Make sure the lace front is laced. Right? And take a picture. And it's on. You know what I'm saying? It's on and we're in Dubai waiting for you. You know what I'm talking about? And he will send a ticket, believe you me. So these are the levels at which they're look at Black China. Look at Amber Rose. They got our daughters looking at these women like these are the new, you know what I mean? Like this is where they want to be. It's crazy. Let's talk about the men now. When we started out at hip hop, right? We had what was known as the golden era of hip hop, right? KRS-One, which is an acronym for knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. We have Big Daddy Kane, right? The Kane and Big Daddy Kane stands for King Asiatic, nobody's equal, right? We have Brand Nubian, right? Nubian, God. So we had MCs that were identifying. We had Queen Latifah, the Queen. North, 45 Kings and all that. You know what I'm talking about? They had MC Light, Moni in the middle. They wasn't showing us no cleavage. They had bars. They were giving us the skills. So we wasn't even saying a female rapper. We was just like, these rappers. You know what I'm saying? They with the native tongues and you know what I mean? It looks like they're having fun. You feel me? So I want to go get me a girl that's fun like that and, you know, we can rap in the mirror together. We can act like, you know, we can just chill and have fun. Not that I want to put a brick in her purse and, yo, go move that weight or, you know what I'm saying? Go set them dudes up so we can kick down the door and get busy. None of that. Or let's run a train. Let's rap pack a 20 deep. But as the music began to digress, as the music began to deteriorate, as they ushered in what was known as the gangster rap culture, right? One of the progenitors of this shift that took place were the good people at Def Jam, Hustle Russell and Rick Rubin, okay? You saw Russell Simmons get outed later on down the line with the Me Too movement. But prior to the whole thing with Me Too, there was a lot of talk about Russell being a coon, meaning that he was willing to sell the culture for a line of coke, okay, and a lap dance by a guy. We'll talk about that later. Okay, Rick Rubin, a Satanist, an avowed Satanist. Okay, an avowed Satanist. If you look at his discography, all he was producing was what was known as death metal, black metal, and all of these things. An avowed Satanist who has no kind of quote unquote, he doesn't have any, he's not of the culture. He's a visitor of the culture. But who moved him out the way? Liar Cohen. That's the rise of Liar Cohen through Def Jam. So Def Jam went from a semi-conscious label where they had Slick Rick and a few other people, LL, you know what I mean? Run DMC. They weren't necessarily steering out people in the wrong direction. Then came Onyx. Then came horrorcore. Remember Gravediggers? Then came there was a whole bunch of other people. Then they got Rockefeller because Def Jam went ahead and sat down with Jay-Z and my dude Dame Dash. We talking early Rockefeller. We talking crack selling Jay-Z, right? Not Jay-Z with the twist in his hair was running around on his diet woke. We ain't talking about that Jay-Z, right? Because keep in mind, we allow our brothers and sisters to evolve. Standing before you is somebody who wasn't always eating Brussels sprouts and tree hugging. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, I was with the shits too. You feel me? So we allow individuals to evolve. That's what consciousness is. That's what this conscious community is, a hip-hop inspired community right now. So you're going to have a lot of people stand before you who don't have all of these clean paths. You know what I mean? So if I see a brother like Jay trying, doing what he's doing, he's married, he got children, he's not necessarily telling you to sell coke no more. You know what I mean? He's buying businesses, whatever he's trying to do, let that man do what he got to do, right? We're talking about early Jay-Z, though, who was wild ignorant. Lyo was behind that. And everybody else, DMX, all of them. And like I said, I'm not talking about the person personally, I'm speaking about the message. If you were to listen to every single lyric and then follow it like it was a treasure map, where would it lead you? Right? Because these people will come out and be like, I never did none of that shit. I was just reflecting what the homies did. But what about the 1 million other children in Boise, Idaho, in Tennessee, you know what I mean, in Cali, and all of these other places that they was just indoctrinated with your music and your influence, and they followed your words, and where did that put them? 80 to life. 6 feet under. You feel me? So after Liar, after the whole thing with Def Jam, the power gets transferred. Rick Rubin went into the West Coast, and then he started something called Death. Instead of Def Jam, he started something called Death America, and his first artist was Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby Got Back. Remember that? Right? So he began to indulge in that sort of blaxploitation where they were objectifying black women's booties and their bodies and whatnot. During Def Jam, that wasn't necessarily the case. But when he went over there in the West Coast, he gave a little bit of light to that. And then immediately, Jerry Heller, NWA, and Eazy-E pop off with what you know as gangster rap, which was bankrolled and financed by the good folks at Interscope, Universal, and all of these other places to the tune of hundreds of $1 million. Remember when they was steamrolling the CDs and whatnot? Dolores Tucker was burning CDs and breaking them and all of that? That time. So now we see the devolution of the culture and whatnot, and it goes all the way into what we know as the trap rap music era, the dope boy era, right? T.I., Lil Weezy. Well, Weezy was on the come up, but we're talking more like Jeezy, the Snowman, right? BMF, a real life movement that people could really look at and be like, yo, they really getting paid. Like, I need to get my act together. Rewarded for that, because black people are about who's going to be rewarded. That's how we move. Whoever dominant society rewards, that's who we follow. right? It's that mentality. Whoever dominates society, that's the good nigga right here. Come in the house. We following them into the house. But Dr. Martin Luther King told you it's a burning house. It's a burning house. So they'll tap you to come into the house, and then we bring millions of people like the Pied Piper to follow us, but the house burned down. So when these artists came forward, the Lils and Young Jeezy, Lil Wayne, they preceded an era of the bigs who all were dying. Big Papa, Big L, Big Pun, Lils. Fast forward today, you can Google it. I was going to show you. And when you go and watch everything that I'm talking about, you're going to see the visuals to it when you get the PDF. There are 8,000 Lils on Spotify. 8,000. 8,000. There's little Nat. There's little Pump. There's little Uzi. There's little Baby. All these Lils. Right? But what's the mentality if you're calling yourself Lil and Young? How far does a Negro grow? He don't grow past the knees. He's a Lil. Negroes are Lils. Negro, you don't grow past the knee. So the mentality of a Lil, how could you calling yourself Lil, right? I'm Little Trap House. Little Trap House. Let's buy back the block. It don't even sound right. You can't talk romance shit with a name Lil. So all you talk about is the Audemars. I'm flooded the protect. I'm getting sloppy toppy. She's giving me neck. I'm sleeping with your girl. I'm hopping out the Beamer. I'm hopping out the foreign. Right? All my clothes is foreign. Right? I be on the road touring. You know what I'm saying? The daddies, they not boring. Like, it's nursery rhymes. Remember, jingles. I'm loving it. Right? Pusha T wrote that for McDonald's. So a nursery rhyme is therapy, meaning that they were therapy and they caught on. Jingles, the power of a jingle is the fact that that shit will be in your head when you're sleeping. Right? What's in your wallet? You know, all of these jingles, all of these little things, they pay people millions of dollars to come up with that, right? Because it sells a product. So these rappers have turned into jingles. They're giving you jingles. They're giving you nursery rhymes. Old MacDonald had a farm, right? $1 million on my arm, on my arm, on my arm. It's easy, right? These niggas is looking at Dr. Seuss books and writing their rhymes. But what's the damage in that? Some of us are in our 40s. Some of us are in our 50s. All we eat is hip hop. That's our diet. Okay? We come from this culture. It's part of our, you know what I mean? Like, we need that to power us up. So we have no defense over who Clear Channel is going to sell us. We got no defense over who BET videos are going to show us. We don't got no defense because we already addicted to the culture. The shit is in our veins. So whoever they put in front of you, whatever they say out of their mouth, these are teenagers. They have not even experienced what we identified as life earlier. Remember when I was talking about 40? Meaning that you, by 40, you have messed up 8 times already in life. So you like, yo, I'm not going to do that again. I done paid the price. I spent half my life in correctional facilities. Why would I still talk about that shit at 40? But what can you tell a 16-year-old? He never even did a bid. What you gonna tell Tekashi? He never felt the pain. That's why people is like, oh, is he gonna get bail? Hell no! He gotta sit up like all of us did. It's called that's called a rites of passage. That's how you mature. Your ass gotta be flirting with death. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta stare death in his face in order to change. That's how a lot of people wake up. That's how a lot of people take shit seriously. You feel me? Watching pieces of your body falling out of your body. That's how it happens, unfortunately. So no, he don't need to come home. He needs to sit his ass up. You know what I'm saying? He needs to mature. We're going to get into him in a minute to show you why he has such an appeal and why he has dominated the minds of America for over 1 year. Maybe not y'all in this room, but when somebody put a video up and the shit is at 300 million, somebody's watching him. Somebody's watching him. Real talk. But there's so many archetypes that he has inside of his quote unquote character or inside of his persona or inside of this archetype that they're selling us. Memes. This little dude is being crazy. Right? So we're going to touch on him real quick, but let's just reiterate the fact that when the music industry in 2012, when they signed Chief Keef, right? They put out an article that said that the target audience now is no longer you old Negroes. The music industry is only going to, because remember, the target audience, the consumer base that is the most delectable consumer base is 17-year-olds to 25-year-olds, right? They already burnt us out. We in debt. You know what I'm talking about? We already done bought into whatever they were selling us those years. They want the babies who gonna shake you down for your credit card, who gonna shake you down for the bag. That's who they're gonna pitch to now. So when they sign a 16-year-old in Chicago during a time when there were quote unquote the Chirac murders taking place and the shit just upped the body count, right? They were like, yo, we about to sell a new level of death to these niggas. And they introduced what is known as drill music. Drill music translation is kill music, right? If you know anybody that's out there who pop pills and get high and go catch bodies, they call that drilling, right? So drill music is basically kill music. So when they signed Chief Keef, what did that do? That began to indoctrinate. They threw milk. He was on bail at his grandmother's house for shooting at the police and catching a whole bunch of charges. Universal, Lucian Grange, right? The same people that's behind Tekashi and them gave that little nigga $30 million. What is that telling your babies? Oh, this is what we need to do to get signed. I guess this is the roadmap to success. And thus began the era of drill. Thus began the era of mumble. Thus began the era that we find ourselves in right now, where these young, innocent men and women, these thug lives, the killmongers of the world. Remember, that's a meme. It's an archetype. A young man whose father was murdered. What did Tekashi say on the Breakfast Club? He said, my dad got murdered. I'm mad at the world. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. He told people to do what? Suck his hoop. That was one of his main things that he was running around saying. He hated niggas. Right? Chief Keef, no father. A bunch of the 300s, no father. Right? The Killmonger theme. Okay? Left with the streets to raise you up. And we all know that the lessons that the streets are giving, they still feeding us pork. They feeding niggas chitlins. The level of love that we getting in the streets, it's a chitlin love. You know what I'm talking about? Pig intestines. They don't love us. They're not telling you about how to survive and make it to whereas you don't gotta basically throw your life away. That's not the message that's coming out of the gutter or the trenches. Let's keep it a buck. So when the game got turned over to babies, right? I personally began to see an uptick in grown-ass men acting like babies or little boys. When the young girls, when the Barbie dolls took over, I personally saw grown-ass women acting like throwaway dolls. You couldn't wear a rainbow pink wig when you was 20, grandma? I mean, like you're 68 and, you know, you're rocking the bright pink wig. Like, what are we doing? Huh? What are we doing? What's the mind state? I'm not judging you off of your protective styles and whatnot, but what's the mind state? Who influenced you? Pinky or Nikki? Who influenced you? Because when I was sharing that whole thing about the female rappers with the fact that they're degenerating the archetype, it's all about archetypes. It's nothing personal. It's all about archetypes. It's about the image that they shape and mold before they put you out there in front of the world. The artists are not responsible for that. No stylists. They got stylists who do what? They're Greco-Roman in their mind state. Most of them are proponents of Greco-Roman lifestyle. They have Greco-Roman designers. That Greco-Roman thing is tied into the people who have historically had their foot on the necks of Aboriginal indigenous people. Okay? That's the Holy See. All right? That's Babylon. So they all work hand in hand. Don't ever separate one for two. Okay? So when we talk about the with the whole Tekashi thing, the reason why that's so important and we have to unpack it is because they are showing you that the quote unquote, they will take little children, impressionable teenagers, throw a whole bunch of money their way. He said, I was sleeping on my mama's floor. Chief Keef, I was sleeping on my mama's floor. I had nothing. The record label niggas know that. They could go right into your account. They can sniff hungry when it walks to the room. You know what I mean? You can size a person up and be like, yo, that nigga's hungry. I'm going to throw a bone at him and see if he bites. And then they tell you what to say, how to say it, how to look, and when to say it. Right? But at the same time, you got the feds on your ass. It's no more hip-hop police. It's all federal. But the feds are tied into what we talked about. They are the agents of J. Edgar Hoover. Their job is to stop anybody that's messianic. When Biggie got killed, who was following him?
Hip-hop guy.
The feds, not the hip-hop. The feds was on Biggie's back. When Tupac got killed, who was following him? They following everybody. They watching everybody. They said that they was following Treyway since 2013, meaning that they could have been stopped them. Why stop them when if I sign a gang to get into hip hop, what are they gonna do? They're gonna fill up federal beds. It's an easy tactic. Why risk the operation, right? Why risk the operation and arrest 10 niggas when we could give them $10 million and arrest a million niggas? It's a no-brainer. What is the job of the federal corporations? To fill the beds. That's what Jeff Sessions did. They got something called, he brought back forfeiture laws, right? You just get locked up. All of your shit is gone. The house you bought for mama, the rims that was spinning, those are permanents in your mouth. We got a dentist to take those out. Everything is theirs. So the justification that people utilize, I'm just putting it all on the line to feed my babies. Are your babies obese? Because you've been putting it on the line for a long time. How much do you got to feed them, my nigga? You know what I'm talking about? Babies. Like, how much do they got to eat? You know what I'm saying? That's no justification because I promise you, they're taking everything when they come and get you. You're going to be poorer than when you started out poor. You know, people who don't have nothing, when they get something, they'll always reflect on how peaceful it was when they didn't have nothing. Niggas wasn't trying to kill you. You didn't get to see how snake-like people are about these dead presidents. You didn't see that. You wasn't able to see people pull the mask back and show you their true self because you can't unsee that. So you got to be very careful about when their purpose at 16. They just want to eat. They just want to stop mommy from going to work every day. They want to put her in a house. They want her. They want to make her proud. They want to make the teachers who told us that we won't amount to nothing wrong. Right? So they go and gun ho, right? And so many of them, when they show up on Unsung or Where Are They Now, what do? They regret it all. They all regret it. They all say, you know what? I'm talking about all the way from the 40s up to now, because the story is always the same, right? I got on, I was hungry, I signed a deal on a napkin, you know what I'm saying? I was getting money, and they had all of their hands in my pocket. I didn't know where they was robbing me from. I got introduced to a white girl who introduced me to the white girl, and I lost it all. Why is it the same story every time? George Clinton, Rick James, I could go on for days. They put you on drugs, right? They put you on coke. You start freebasing, and you lose it all, right? Then they put somebody new in your place, right? Who is younger, more dumber, right? More hungrier, but more illiterate to what the game is about, because you just got hit. And they get rid of you, and they bring the young dumb one on. And then when he gets hit, they get rid of him and bring the next young dumb one on.
They keep doing it.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. So the Tekashi thing, he's Mexican, right? He's in jail with El Chapo. El Chapo's a Mexican drug lord. El Chapo's a billionaire. El Chapo really killed people, right? El Chapo on trial right now. Do you hear about El Chapo? Does anybody pay attention to El Chapo anymore? He's a real killer. He's a real drug lord. He really got bodies in the desert, right? So it's not about who's real anymore. It's not about that. Because if that was the case, they would be focusing on El Chapo. Right? He's a blood member. He's a Mexican blood. Where the hell did you hear that? I never heard of that. In LA, the Mexicans are at war with the Bloods. So one of the memes that he has is the fact that he's Mexico. You got the Mexican caravan coming, right? Mexico is always in the news. Came out.
Yeah.
Shit is lit. Yeah. But they explain, they show you how Mexico worked hand in hand with going back to George Bush, Oliver North, and all of them. Mexico is the goddamn route to where all of this cocaine, all of this dope, a lot of these drugs that have destroyed our neighborhoods. Now everybody on the run, shit, we might get pushed out of all of our neighborhoods into Mexico. You know what I'm talking about? We don't got nowhere to live. We don't have nowhere to live. It's we are the new version of the Fugees. They calling it reverse migration. No, it's niggas on the run that are not eating. When I go on a China bus, you know how many people is leaving New York because they can't afford it, getting pushed out? Huh? That's why I'm in. Exactly. People all in Jersey City and whatnot that don't want to be there, they're not from there. They don't even know how to move around there. They're like refugees because they're displaced. That was a direct result of the deterioration of our neighborhoods as a result of gang culture, as a result of drug culture, as a result of the fact that we deteriorated that shit. With all of the killings, all of the shootings, and all of these other things. There's a report that just came out that showed that the real estate is basically, they undervalue our real estate by $400 billion. They tricked us. And then when the white people came in, that shit shot up on us. But our real estate and our property was always at a higher level. They undervalued us. Yes. So I'm going to wrap it up because my brother got to get on. I'm not going to be rude and hog his time. We had these technical difficulties. But like I said, if the family leaves their email behind, you will get the PDF in your email. Okay? You'll be able to download it. You don't got to go through that. So I want to thank everybody for their time and their attention. Before I finish, we got products in the back, clothing. My brother got jewelry and all kind of stuff. KTL Media. Please go and check out that website, ktlmedia.com. That is our platform. We're on YouTube. No The Ledge Media is our channel, but we built our own YouTube. Like Professor Griff said, I'm not playing with these people. I don't want to play in their arenas. I don't even want them to listen. I don't even want my intellectualism, and we built our own thing. Our servers are overseas, so we don't got to worry about nobody shutting us down and telling us what we can and cannot say. So ktlmedia.com, that's the website. Love and light to the people. Thank you for your time and attention. Peace.
Big up, big up.
Thanks.